Hello everyone, welcome back again to our Big O notation series. Today is part 7. This is the question number 2. We will be discussing about time and space complexity. As I said earlier, Big O is a fundamentally important concept to learn because whenever we are writing any code, it is really important to understand its complexity in the sense that how much space and time it is going to take to run this program or code as well. This concept is useful to learn because in many competitive exams, including GATE, there will be many questions about time and space complexity. So if we basically learn this concept by practicing lots and lots of questions, then it will fundamentally build our understanding to next level. So with that, uh, so just a recap before we look into this question. So in previous parts from 1 to 6, we basically covered the basics of big O notation, starting with what the big O is, what's its significance, where it is used, and then we went through uh, big O, big omega, and big theta, the differences between them, and then best case, worst case, and expected case or average case scenarios. And then we went through time and space complexity, where we learned that these are the two parallel concepts. One is for the runtime and the other one is for the memory, or how much space will be uh, used by the program, right? And then we went through amortized runtime, taking an example of array list, which is dynamically resizing array. And then we went through uh, most commonly used time and space complexities like order of 1, order of n, order of log n, square root of n, then 2 raised to the power n and log n, and many different common complexities, which was really important to know the ordering, because if we know which time complexity is more efficient, then we can think of the solution in that way. And then we also checked some of the recursive examples, recursive code examples. And in the previous part, just before this part, we went through the question number 1, where we were given an algorithm and we needed to find its runtime, and we checked that. So let's get started on this one. So here the question is, what is the runtime of the below code? So we have given a method print pairs. This method accepts a parameter array, which is an array, right? So as I said earlier, there can be different approaches to determine the complexity, whether time or space, and everyone might have a different approach or opinion about it. But in this, I am going through like how I will approach this mm, problem, right? So, and before we start into this, so just if you remember from the previous parts in this series, so we also learned about that there can be multiple variables in big O notation, and it can be multiplication between those variables, it can be addition of those variables, and as well we also learned that we can drop the constants while determining the complexity. As well we uh, can drop non-dominant terms, like if time complexity is coming as order of n square plus order of n, then we will consider order of n square. We can just drop order of n because as per our previous discussion, so we also learned that we should always focus on the tightest bound on the runtime. So you remember that there were three different notations. One is big O, big omega, and big theta, wherein big O defines or describes the upper bound on the runtime, and big omega is for the lower bound on the runtime, and big theta is just when when it's both big O and big omega, right? So and we saw that big theta is actually describes the tight bound on the runtime. So we always look for the tightest bound on the runtime. So with those learnings, let's see how we tackle this problem. So we are given an array in this method. We have a for loop wherein we are starting with index I0 to array length. So with this for loop, I will go from 0 to length minus 1 of array. And then for each index or for each iteration, we are going, we are again have a for loop which goes from 0 to same length of the array minus 1 and j plus plus. So here we are printing array I and array j, right? So I think I have drawn it down, right? So let's say, so for example, if this is our array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it contains 5 elements, right? So the index will go from 0 to 4, right? So the outer for loop, there are two for loops. So one is outer for loop and one is inner for loop. So outer for loop goes from 0 to 4, right? The array length is 5 because there are 5 elements. So it will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when I is 0, then what's happening? J will again points to the same array and J goes from 0 to 4, right? So for I0, J goes from 0 to 4. It means 5 times. Then for I1, it again, J goes from 0 to 4. So again 5 times. For I is equal to 2, it goes from 0 to 4 again, 5 times. I is equal to 3, it goes from 0 to 4 again. And for I is equal to 4, it goes from 0 to 4 again. So what we are seeing is when my outer loop is at a particular index, then the inner for loop goes or traverses through the entire array. So now in this example, if we want to calculate the total count, how many times we are printing this statement. So it is like 5 times, 1 into 5 times plus 2 into 5 times. I mean to say like 5 times for first entry, then 5 times for second entry, for 5 times for third index, 5 times for fourth index, like 5 times for fifth index. So eventually it's 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, right? It is 25. So 25 times this sys out will get printed on the console. And then so basically now if we want to generalize this, right? So let's say in this array, if I have n elements, so my first for loop or outermost for loop will run n times, right? And then for each index, inner for loop also runs n times. So it's n is to n times, right? So which is order of n square. So our answer in this case will be order of n square, right? Okay, so that's it. If you have any question or query about this program or any other previous things which we discussed prior to this part, then please feel free to drop in the comment and I will try my best to answer it. And as well, if you have any other question or code which you would like to understand how to calculate its time or space complexity, just drop it in the comments and I will check and maybe prepare a video on that. Okay, with that, happy learning. Thank you so much.